everybody, welcome back. Wyatt here, and today we are going to be making French onion soup. For this recipe, you need 6 onions, a teaspoon of dried thyme or 3 sprigs of fresh thyme, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. I don't even pretend to know how to pronounce that. I have about a cup of pre-made croutons, which I made by just slicing a ciabatta bun and seasoning them and then just baking it in the oven. But you can always use store-bought croutons or make your own. You only need 1 bay leaf. I have 4 cloves of garlic, some mozzarella cheese. You can just use store-bought beef broth, but I'm going to be making my own. I have flour, white wine, and salt and pepper. Let's get right into it. So your first step in making French onion soup is going to be, of course, cutting the onions. So I like to cut off both ends of the onion, which is going to make this a lot easier to peel. Now that I've peeled and cut all my onions in half, it is time to cut them into the final shape we want when we make our soup. So we just take them like this. Just cut them like this to give us these little moon shapes. Okay, so now that I've cut up most of my onion, I just need to finish cutting up this last half of an onion. I don't like to slice them too thin or too thick, but just kind of in between is good for me. Just cut these last little bits and just toss them in. Alright, on to our next step. Now I'm adding 3 tablespoons of butter to a big stock pot. That does not really... There we go. Alright, so we're just going to let this melt. Alright, once this is melted, we're just going to add in our onions. So add in So here we are trying to caramelize our onions to give them a bit more flavor. So you're just going to leave these in here, stirring them about 1 time every 3 to 5 minutes, and you're going to let them cook for about half an hour. Okay, so now that we've caramelized our onions for about half an hour, I went ahead and made my own beef stock with about 2 tablespoons of Better Than Bouillon beef base, right here, and about 6 cups of water. So I just stirred that together, and I made my own little beef broth. Alright, so we're going to add 4 cloves of crushed garlic, onions. I'm going to stir this in and saute it for about 2 minutes. Alright, next you're going to add about 3 tablespoons of flour. This is to thicken your soup. So we're going to put this in. We're going to just stir this to combine it. Alright, now we are going to add half a cup of white wine to deglaze the bottom. So this is what's going to get rid of all of that bottom, all of that stuff on the bottom. Because that stuff there has a lot of flavor that we want to get into our soup. There's a lot of really hot smoke. So I'm switching to a tool that I can better use to scrape the bottom. Yeah, so your white wine isn't going to take everything off the bottom, but it's going to mostly extract the flavor and get rid of a good bit of it. Alright, next step is we're going to add our 6 cups of beef broth. And as you can see now, it's actually starting to form a soup. This smells delicious. After about a little minute, you're going to add your Chester sauce, your bay leaf, and your teaspoon of dried thyme. Just gonna stir all of this together. You're going to take out the bay leaf after you're just putting it in here for now, just to extract the flavors out of the bay leaf and put them in your soup. But you don't want a big green leaf float around in your soup. Alright, so once that's about mixed, I'm going to turn your heat to about medium-low. We're going to grab our lid, and we're just going to cover this and let it simmer for about 10 minutes. Now I'm just slicing out some mozzarella using a vegetable peeler just to get myself some nice thin slices of cheese. Just so, because these will probably melt more evenly than just grated cheese. Okay, now that our French onion soup is done simmering, I've got 2 French onion soup bowls here with 2 slices of garlic toast. I just made garlic butter by mixing together a little bit of butter, some garlic powder, and some dried parsley. So that just makes this delicious butter, which I'm going to bake with my French onion soup. Alright, now it's time to scoop it. Now it's time to scoop it into our French onion soup bowls. I'm going to be using a funnel so I don't spill it everywhere. So just ladle it. Just grab a ladle. Nice scoop. Bring this over. Put that in. Delicious. Okay, I forgot to mention 2 things. I forgot to mention that you have to take out your bay leaf before you ladle it into your soup bowls, and make sure your bay leaf is the same size to make sure no little pieces of bay leaf broke off and are just floating around in your soup. I also forgot to mention that you need to season it with salt and pepper to your taste. So your next step here is you have to work fast here. So I'm gonna grab a little handful of my croutons and I'm just gonna sprinkle them all across the top. Now you wanna work fast here so that the croutons don't completely absorb your soup and so they don't sink. So I'm gonna do our croutons, then some 2 slices of cheese. Alright, so now we're gonna quickly This is really heavy, so I'm gonna get my mom to put this in the oven. So I'm just gonna open the oven for her, and then she's gonna put it in my oven. Because if I try and put this in the oven, I'm gonna end up dropping it and spilling really hot French onion soup everywhere. So basically, you're just gonna cook this boiling at high until your cheese melts and starts to just bubble slightly. Then you're ready to take it out, let it cool for only about 1 minute because you still want to serve it while it's hot. Alright, now that this is done, I'm super excited to try this. We've got our garlic little breadsticks here. And I'm going to take a spoon of them. That is really hot and really good.